All right, it's getting that time of year again, folks. It's that winter time, and it's time for some more little snow scenes. And these, to me, are a lot of fun to do with miniature work. This little fella here, I like to work with small miniatures when it comes to snow scenes. And this little fella here is only about 2.5 inches high. So, and it's only out of a 1-inch block. So, if you have never worked with miniatures before, I caution you now to be very, very careful, because these are small figures, and I just feel that you should have more time to work with miniatures than to maybe do something like this. But these are a lot of fun to do. And the first thing to make the miniature scene is we have to make the little guy who is in the miniature scene, who is there. So I've got this little guy cut out. I drew him out, and he of course has a coat on because it will be in the middle of the winter. And so let's just draw right here to separate the head and come from the inside of the head like that. It is a beautiful, beautiful day here in Texas. We have had some cold days, but it is a beautiful sunny day here in Texas, and it's not real hot. So we have been blessed to have a good day today. Very good day. I don't do real well in cold weather. It's not that I don't like cold weather. My father had rheumatoid arthritis, and I have a little bit in my body. And when it gets cold, it really plays on me. Really does. Getting old, folks. Just getting old. And okay. Now we have separated the head from the we've gotten the head established where it's at, okay? Because he's going to be with his hands in his pockets, of course, on a cold day. Now the next thing we do is we come down here and we separate where the feet will be with the coat, in other words. We just want to kind of take some off right in there and some right in there. But it is a beautiful day. I know I talked to my friend in Ohio who said that they did receive a little bit of snow. So I'm really concerned about my friend in Ohio. He's the one that was exposed to the chlorine. All right, so now we have established now what we have here. So let's go ahead and just bring this down in here so that and the reason I say with miniatures is because your knife needs to be extremely sharp, and you need to be extremely careful making these cuts, because of the fact that this is a small figure, and it can break easy. I'm just going between the legs. It can break easy, and you can have some real issues with it. So when you do miniature work, it's good. See, once you learn how to do a larger figure, and when I say larger, I'm talking about maybe 4 or 5 inches, then you don't have any problem doing a miniature figure, okay? But if you haven't done it, then I suggest that you do a regular figure first. I'm just working on the shoes here. You see how from each side I just make cuts. I just make line cuts basically. And because you really have to know knife control to do miniature work. You don't want to, because when you get down here around your hands, and then when you get down here around your hands, you need to be careful, okay? Okay. All right. Now we've kind of got things shaped right here just a little bit. In other words, to get it out of the way so that we can, it'll be brought down even more as we deal with the shoes and stuff. Now, the next thing to do is to go ahead and bring the head down a little bit more so that we will have some shoulders in here to do our work on our hands. And you just basically take off and work with this stuff, and you begin to bring all right. Now, as you can see now, and let's go ahead and we'll get so far, and then we'll kind of work on that. Now, as far as the arms are concerned, and we have spoken about this before, the arms are going to be in the pockets, so we're going to have something like this, okay? And then come back behind here and cut that. Come back behind here and cut that. There's our little arm. And we want to go to the other side and do the same thing. Like I said, this is a winter scene, so naturally he is cold. And when you get down, like I say, like these areas in here, you have to know knife control, because you do not want to force anything. That is how you break stuff. And when you break it, a lot of times, that's how the knife gets into your hands. And you don't want that to happen. You want to be very, very careful when you're working with miniatures. Okay. All right. Now we want to come to the front of the coat, and we want to continue just like here. Just make those strong cuts along there. See, I'll just take the knife and use it like that. Okay. Some guy singing. Maybe because it's a nice day. Some guys out there singing, walking along the road. I wonder what that was. I looked up and just a guy singing over there. All right. Okay, now we have right now the basis of our figure as we're going. That we know where his hands are going. In fact, let's go ahead and just run a little thing across here. And run one across here. And remember, the hands go in the pockets. So we're just going to kind of just that way. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and I tell you what, let's go ahead and work on our body a little bit more. We want to come in between here with our knife. And if you look at your figure here, then we start bringing this down and getting the body. As you can see, the body is way too big. This whole front is too big. So that's going to have to come down. That has to come down so that he is not an odd looking character, because the head is going to also come down. Just that. Now, I'll tell you what we can go ahead and do. We can go ahead and start with the hat that he's going to be wearing. So let's start with that as we get this head just right, as we get it shaped up. So let's go ahead and come to this point. Let's come down a little bit, come over, and let's go ahead and make us a hat, okay? Because on a cold day, and of course we do the cuts on a cold day, he would be wearing a hat. And the hat comes to the back of the head just like this. And this is where, when you're working with miniatures, you really have to have control over your knife. Miniatures are not easy. They're very difficult. They are not simple projects. They can really be an issue, because you are working with a small bit of wood, just like here. You're working with small wood, and you can easily slip. So anyone that says that miniatures are easier, they don't know what they're talking about. Miniatures are not easier. They are not at all. Now I come a little bit up here and I make a cut, okay, so that we can get the top of the head right here, okay? Doesn't have to be perfect or whatever, but we're going to Okay. And let's go ahead and come around the side. All right. Now let's come back here and take off a little bit more in here. And a little bit more in the back. You see how we work this all down as we go? Now, you can see that, you go around the hat and you have to get things correct as you work it, in other words. And okay, then you have to bring the head down so that you can work it. I'll come on both sides of it. Come on both sides. I'll work from side to side when I do a character. Most of you already know that. And I work from side to side so that I can get an even flow of the character. It's not perfect, but it's the even flow of the character that you want. Okay? There we go. Now, this is where the knife control really comes in, is that you're taking stuff off of the brim so that you can make the brim smaller. And you really have to be careful of that. This is a very delicate thing. In other words, what I'm saying is you have to know something about how much pressure to put on the knife in order to do this. And sometimes that's where people who are not trained or have not done a lot of carving, they have a problem with that, Lord. So I'm just saying, this is why I say that you need to be so careful with miniatures. They're just like doing a large figure, but do large figures first, learn how to do them first, and then experiment on the miniature stuff. Because I'm barely scraping my knife along there. You need sharpness and you need control. There we go. Here we are. All right, let's go ahead and work on the body now. Since we've got that done, we'll come back here, make that cut for the arm, come back here, and from the inside make that cut from the arm. But if you look from back here, it looks like, unless he's a very large man, it looks way too big back here. So that's all going to have to come down. It's all going to have to be, done in a little. All right, now let's go on down a little bit more. And let's Let's just do that. Okay. All right. Now he can be a big fella anyway. Be a sizable fella. Let's bring a little bit more depth. I like a lot of depth to my figures now. I mean, a lot of people don't. They don't bring the arms in quite as much and stuff like that, but I do. Come up here in the front. I'm still getting perhaps that the coat is too, like I said, it could be a big fella though. And let's come, as we brought that down, this has to all come down. All that has to come down back here as you bring the coat down. All right, we're getting there. As you walk around the piece, you work and thin up the piece as you go along, in other words. This has all got to come down a little bit too. There. That looks a lot better. And we just kind of course, these shoulders are sticking out too much, so we just flip that knife. We just kind of decoratively flip that knife like that, in other words, and bring this up here. All right.